In 1777, in the King's House, Winchester, built by Christopher Wren and modelled after the Palace of Versailles, Dr. William Babington cared for French sailors taken as prisoners of the American War of Independence. Hundreds captured from their ships, the Pallas and the Licorne, by Admiral Keppel, were crowded in and sick with fever, smallpox, and other disease. Babington's diligent efforts almost cost him his own life, after being stricken with typhus and only narrowly surviving. At this hospital, surrounded by militia, his efforts were not unnoticed. Many who were sick recovered, and very few died. Babington had come from Ireland and was raised in County Antrim, apprenticed in Londonderry, and finished his education at Guy's Hospital. His excursion to Winchester ended when he was recalled to London and to Guy's to take on the role of apothecary. He qualified in 1795, and by 1810 he was recognised as the leading physician in London. He sought out the hard edges of society. Never retiring from medicine, he offered his services to the poorest in a city rife with poverty and disease. This was the London of Jacob's Island and the Old Nickel and the Devil's Acre and Agar Town, shanty and slum and squalid tenement, insecure from age and decay, humans blighted by brutal industry. In February 1833, London was met by a punctilious rain. In March, it was harassed by an influenza epidemic. On the 24th of April, in great personal distress and weakened by fever, he continued to visit his patients until late in the evening. The next morning, he was delirious, and Babington died like the people he treated. Contemporaries eulogized his ancient manners, eminent reputation, and rare benevolence. One remarked that he put nothing on record that will long survive him. In this pantheon of St. Paul's, surrounded by military might and the countenances of saints, why build a monument to a man whose work did not venture into the field of original discovery? It is the nature of medicine to pursue a dual purpose: the scientific advancements necessary to prevent, alleviate, or cure illness, and the professional integrities and virtues that inspire trust, compassion, and respect for human life. Dr. Richard Bright, in his eulogy at the College of Physicians, described Babington's personal sacrifice of the great scientific discovery in favour of the exemplary execution of the professional ideal. His acts of kindness, embodied in his individual encounters with the sick and the poor, and not his toil towards a universal scientific discovery, were cause for this memorial statue, in dedication to his bright example. These virtues have not been lost in the ruptures of history or by a changing social contract, but remain immanent to the medical profession. It was, of course, these same values which led to the revolutionary moment of the creation of the National Health Service. The sad parallels we can draw between the influenza epidemic of 1833, which took Babington's life, and the pandemic of 2020 reflect the depths of courage and bravery of the medical profession and these enduring values. With no guarantee of personal safety, amidst shortages of protective equipment, with no vaccination or effective therapeutics, doctors made their sacrifices to continue to heal the sick. It is a cruel tragedy that in saving the lives of tens of thousands of patients, so many doctors lost their own. This common sentiment between 1833 and today, between Babington and my colleagues, between his virtue and theirs, finds expression in this statue, in its graceful lustre, and in its inscription carved into marble about his character. So rare a union of intellectual excellence and moral worth to extend to future generations. From the depths of this recent tragedy, these words do not simply define Babington, but define his profession. Their meaning renewed by the individual and the collective acts of doctors today in service to the people of this nation.